Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, in this life and the next. Welcome back to the Nerd's Tarot reading, and this is your host, the Nerd. We are once again doing our Sigil Work Series, and tonight, tonight's Sigil statement is I will gain balance with my priorities between myself and others. And this is tonight's Sigil. Tonight's sigil is again, as always, based on everything that's happened so far this week, from the full general tarot card reading earlier, and as well as the card draw messages throughout the week. And apparently, this week's messages have all been revolving around priorities, responsibilities, your work, and the stuff we need to do if we want to uh, gain some security in our finances as well as our responsibilities. This sigil is the result of that, especially from this week's tarot card reading. Balance between our priorities as to others as well as yourself, because as much as uh, dealing with with your work, your finances, your responsibilities, and your overall projects, it is also important to not neglect yourself. That self-care is also important. Your responsibilities to yourself are just as important as your responsibilities and uh, duties to others. This sigil represents that, the finding of balance between those priorities as well as others and yourself, the choices you have to make, as well as the time frame that you need to make these decisions. Time is not always something that we have, it's not always something that's on our side. So, needing um, this sigil basically reminds us that the time frame that we need to make these decisions to balance our priorities is not always be plentiful. So you need to actually focus and take the time and prioritize those decisions as well as your responsibilities, as well as make time to yourself as well. Basically, by doing this, you can find balance. This sigil is to help us, motivate us, remind us, and empower us to uh, be willing and actually focus on finding that balance in your life, so that you can gain some peace of mind as well as a sense of urgency to make these decisions as soon as possible. Not put them off, but prioritize the now. The Everything that you need to do is something you need to do now. Again, I will gain balance between my prior with I will gain balance with my priorities between myself and others. Is this week's sigil. Again, that was tonight's sigil, and as usual, we are not trying to predict the future. We are simply trying to guide you guys to a better future that you can make for yourselves. Because at the end of the day, the path you walk is yours alone, and it is the path you make with your own 2 feet. Again, this was your host, the Nerd. This was the Nerd's Hair Reading. Good night.